Hey again, folks. Welcome to the Traveling Pen Show. I've named my show now. With Alan and, of course, Saba. Can I have kisses? Oh, I love you. Oh, okay. There's so many kisses. There's so many kisses. Well, I'm sorry it's taken a while to get another video vlog out to you. I got home. I have been to the Triangle Pen Show. I have a bunch of show and tell items for you. I'm going to keep it to the pens, but I do have some writing samples. I'm still doing the one camera. In fact, it's my camera phone. It's the camera on my phone, so I don't really have anything fancy schmancy yet, but I did download a video editor, so we'll see how this works. Who knows if I'll do it that way right now. I'll probably just wing it. Anyway, oh, you okay, doggy? I'm going to talk about the Triangle Pen Show a little bit, and yeah, the family has grown on the pens, let me tell you. I'm going to do it, I guess, in order of the, for lack of a better way of doing it, I think I'm going to go least to most. Least to most valuable. So, but they're all, I'm impressed with all the pens that I currently own. Yeah, let's just get into it. So you've seen my Girologio case before. She's got a couple of different entries in there now, and we're going to get to them, and there's a couple more. We'll start with this one, and I knew I was going to get this one at the show. This little puppy is the Kaweco Sport, or Kaweco Sport. I've heard it pronounced a lot of different ways. I think it's Kaweco. I'm not German at all. But basically I got this because I wanted to have a pocket pen, and it's plastic because I want to eventually eyedropper it. Most of you, I'm sure, know that you can't eyedropper the aluminum ones or the metal ones because the ink will react with the metal. But if you have the plastic one, that's not the case. I currently have the Kaweco cartridge in it, but once the cartridge runs out, we will be putting that aside, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some silicone grease on here and eyedropper her. I probably can't get much of a close-up, but there you go. There's the tiny nib on this. It's a steel nib, and it is a medium, and obviously I need to post this one to make it long enough for my hand. If I don't post it, then yeah, it's a little too diminutive. But that is the Kaweco Sport, and we'll get to the writing samples at the end. I'll just post them all. Yeah, this one, and you can get this for, I believe, around 25 bucks. Next, yep, I got this from Goulet Pens. It was waiting for me when I got home. This is the Lamy Safari Terra Special Edition. It's got a medium nib as well, and I am currently using the Lamy cartridge converter in it, and it is inked up with, let's see, what is it again? Yeah, Pilot Urushi Tsukushi, which is a nice brown, so it looks pretty good with this terracotta type color. She posts and posts well. I don't think you need to post it. It's plenty long enough, but it doesn't back weight it too much. In fact, I think it makes it feel better if it's posted. It's got the Lamy nib steel on there, and it's a medium. So, and you can get this for around what, 32, 37 bucks, somewhere in there. Oop. Let's see here. Now, I got this next one at the Triangle Pen Show, and I won it in an auction. So I got it for around 35 bucks. It's actually this is the most ostentatious one I've got now. And also, it's the heaviest. Oh, and it's also the one on the ground right now. But I think she could take it. This is a John Hall built fountain pen. He built it from a kit. It's got a steel medium-ish nib on it, two-tone. It's a Iridium Point Germany, which apparently is a fairly cheap nib, but she actually writes pretty well and writes pretty wet. It has a cartridge converter in it. I got an international standard in there, so you can see it's got a pretty good little ink capacity. And this one can also be posted. In fact, I think it's made to be posted, but it does back weight it a little bit. It's kind of heavy, so this is plenty can write with it just fine like this. And like I said, it's pretty wet. You'll see that in the sample, the writing sample. Okay, moving on. You've already seen the TWSBI, but I switched her up a little bit, and now that the TWSBIs that I have are as a trio, I figured I'd present all of them. This is the VAC 700R, and I went ahead and moved the steel nib. Well, they're all steel nibs. I moved the bold nib back onto this pen, and this currently has the Pilot Urushi Fuyu Syogen, which is a gray, and it looks almost, you'll see it, it looks almost like a pencil. It's pretty neat. And I've also discovered something about bold nibs and for myself, and we'll go into that when I show you the writing sample. But pretty neat. That this ink is really neat. It's gray. Like I said, it looks almost like a pencil. Now you've already seen this one a lot, but I'll bring her back out just for a second. She still has the medium nib on it. Once again, a VAC 700R with Pilot Urushi Momiji in it, and this has been the same ink that's been in here since April. But I tell you what, she's a writer. I keep the vacuum closed, and I've had no problems. So, I mean, just pick her up and write, but not much, obviously. And filling out the TWSBI trio here, we've got the TWSBI VAC 700R again, but this is the Iris. You'll see that she's got the metal treatments on it, the rainbow metal treatments. I do forget what it's a heat treatment. I do know that, but I forget what makes it what it is. This has an extra fine nib on it. It's a really cool, really stunning nib on there. It's got the same treatment on there. So multi-tone, obviously. But it's a VAC fill, just like the other one. And I've got Pilot Urushi Yuyaki in here, which is kind of a really nice orange, orangey brown. And I think it goes really well with this pen. But there we go. Oh, you can get the TWSBIs between 70 and 85 bucks. I think I paid like 90 to 95 for the Iris, so pretty reasonable. So now moving on to the next box here. I actually won this in a drawing. This is a Franklin-Christoph 6-pen Penvelope, and apparently I read on the site it's faux leather, but it's made from like a paper, and yeah, I mean it's some type of cellulose, I'm sure, but it mimics leather. It feels really kind of cool. You can remove the interior, and that's what it looks like. It's got this soft felt-like material in here, and actually this really feels like leather. So this might be a different, like a pleatherish, maybe different from this, but that feels really good. And these are, most of these are, well, half of them are acquisitions from the pen show. One's my custom 823 that I've had, and two others are eBay buys. So we'll go through them right now. Put those back in here, grab them out one at a time. We'll start with this one. This was my second purchase after the Kaweco Sport, but I had a feeling I was going to leave with this. This is the Pilot Vanishing point with the clipless nib, 18 karat nib on there. I tell you what, you're not going to find a. I think this has to be the least expensive pen with an 18K nib on it. As a matter of fact, you can. I mean, this is a medium on here, but if I wanted to replace this nib, all I would do is take this out here. This has a Con 40 converter on here, and it was a pain in the tail to fill, and I'm sure plenty of people will tell you that. But this is the unit. This is the nib unit, and you would just buy another one of these, and you can get one of these nib units for less than $100. It's around $75, $85, and it's an 18 karat nib. Now it's a smaller nib, obviously, but and it writes a tad smaller than a medium. This one I find when they say, you know, a Japanese medium writes like a fine, this one truly writes like a fine. Also the clip, it's kind of neat. You know, this is to keep the nib up, but as you'll notice, the nib comes out through the top there, and what it means is that it puts the clip kind of in your way, but it's not. For me, it's not too bad. I don't mind it. As a matter of fact, when I start writing initially, I actually turn it to the side a little bit, so my finger is actually over the clip for a second. I'll explain that in a little bit. But yeah, the vanishing point. Following the vanishing point, I'll just take out one of them, but I have two. Is the venerable Lamy 2000, the Lamy 2000, with its 14K hooded nib right there. They're both mediums that I have. I told this story in the last one of my other videos, where basically I bought one Lamy, saw a better deal. The guy that I bought the first Lamy from, which was this one, so this is an older Lamy 2000. When I bought it, he was like, "Oh no, I've already sent it out." It was literally like 3 minutes. But I was like, you know what? We'll go ahead and take both. Yeah, they're both pretty reasonably priced. Usually you can find these for just under $200, just shy of $200, but they do have some good deals on eBay, and that's where I found both of these. So there we go. This is the Lamy 2000. Now we've already seen, I'm just for sense of completion, Excalibur, my Pilot 823 with its 14K nib. This is still Excalibur, man. I still love the way this thing writes. I mean, it's like, you know, butter on glass. It's so smooth, and yeah, I can't say enough about the Pilot 823. But I did get his big brother, and here she is, or he is, however you want to look at it. Big sister, big brother, it doesn't matter. This is the Pilot Custom 845 Urushi. So this has the Urushi lacquer on it. Same size nib as the 823, but this is an 18 karat medium nib. They write fairly similar. I mean, you know, the medium nib, same size, you'd expect it to kind of write similar. She sings a little bit more on the paper than the 823, but then again, I've written pages and pages and pages with the 823, so I think she's kind of like tuned into my hand. I have a feeling this one's going to get there as well, if I stop having I'm having a tad adverse reaction to the Urushi lacquer. I can kind of feel it, you know, in my fingers. It's not bad. I've heard that some people really get a bad reaction to Urushi. Mine's not that way. I just feel a little bit of funkiness in my fingers. Urushi, the active ingredient in Urushi is urushiol, which you'll find in like poison ivy. So it's similar to what poison ivy is. Now, I've never really had poison ivy, so I don't think I have a poison ivy sensitivity. but I think the lacquer, apparently there can be up to, I don't know how many layers are on the 845, but I do know you can have up to 40 to 50 layers of Urushi lacquer on a pen. Between each layer, they have to dry. Apparently with the last layer, now the nib on here reads 1220, so it was made in December 2020, which I imagine is around the time that the pen might have been completed. We'll just call that a benchmark. It could take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years for those last few layers to cure. And I guess that would be in optimal conditions, probably not in a truck going from, different atmospheres and all that stuff. I'm not a scientist. But they've also said that you can actually strip off the lacquer, and I'm not going to do that. So I have 3 choices. 1, set it away for 2 years and let that cure. 2, actually gently take the top layers of Urushi off. No. Or apparently I can get used to it, and you can build up a tolerance. So what I need to do is write with it. I didn't mention, let's see. Yeah, well, I did mention, that's what I meant. The Vanishing Point's probably around the $160 price range. Custom 823 is around the $300 price range. $288 is the going rate for like the past 4 or 5 years, as I'm to understand, and probably even longer. I got this. If you look on Goulet's website, the custom 845 goes for around $835 or something like that. I got this at the pen show for $550. So, and I want to show you here. This actually has the Con 70 converter in it. It did come with the cartridge, but it also came with the converter. So this is the plunger type converter. So it's a pump converter, and apparently the biggest complaint, now I don't know yet because I haven't done it. I mean, it's just been, I've just filled it. But apparently the biggest complaint is how hard these are to clean. But they certainly do have a large capacity. So that, my friends, is the custom 845. So that's Grail Pen 1 achieved. Well, I put the 823 there, but I don't know if, that's a lot of people's idea of a Grail pen, and not that I'm arguing. I love the pen, but I bought it to start. I would definitely call the 845 a Grail. This is a Grail as well, though, and I won this at the auction for $210. This is the Pelikan M800 black. It is a bold, or a broad nib, sorry, and this is a ridiculously pretty nib. I don't know if you're seeing this. I'll see it when I get back, and if you're not, I really apologize, but that's what happens when you can't see. I'm not looking at the screen right now. But I got this for $210. She was seized up, and I had to clean her. I actually soaked her in the hotel bathroom, and watched a video on how to take her apart. Had a TWSBI wrench with me, so I got her apart. At first, when I first got it, the blind cap wasn't staying on, and I adjusted it correctly so now that it will stay on when the piston is fully extended. She's working great. A bold nib. I found out that my cursive style and bold don't go well together, but man, when I print block, and you'll see it here in a little bit, when I do block printing with this thing looks amazing. So I'm very, very, very impressed. Oh, and I didn't mention, when I showed this to a Pelikan salesman the next day, he took a loop out, he looked at it, he noticed that it had the PF stamp on it. Now, he told me a story about an artist who was allowed to put the PF on there because that's something about firing. I've since found out, and I tend to believe this story, that it's actually a Swiss custom stamp. They also have EN nibs, and that's a French custom stamp. But both PF and EN date the pen to about the early to mid 90s, maybe a little later, basically the 90s. And with the 2-chick finial on here and the 2 chicks on the nib, the timing's right. It's somewhere in the 90s. And apparently the nibs are prized for their kind of their flex. That they do have a softness to them, and you can kind of a little bit of springiness that you can use in them. But I mean, she's a rider, dude. I love this pen. But that concludes what I got at the show. I did get one other thing on eBay, and it looks like, you know what, another Lamy 2000, but this one is actually the Rollerball. So I wanted to get a Rollerball to use because, I mean, you know, not everything plays friendly with fountain pen ink. So picked up the Rollerball, got it for a pretty good price. It was only used like one day apparently, and I also went ahead and got a bunch of Lamy refills in here. I've got the black one in here right now, but the Lamy blue is beautiful. Haven't checked out the Lamy red or green yet. I've got a couple of reds, one green, a bunch of blues, and the black came with the pen. I put the black back in the pen because, like I said, I'm using it for documents and such, but the blue does look great, and I mean, it's just as good. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do now, sticking with the one camera thing, I don't think I'm going to do too much editing. I'm going to grab the phone and pan around and we're going to look at the writing samples. So here we go, close up, and we'll turn her around, and here we go. Okay, that's the Kaweco Sport medium steel. You can see it's actually fairly wet. It does write like a nail. You're not going to see much fluctuation or variation in the line. Kaweco Summer Purple ink cartridge, and this is what I've decided to do for the writing samples. Saba saw a fox today. She jumped in the seat to bark hello. Okay, there's the Lamy Safari Terra Special Edition medium steel. You can see that they're similarly wet. Not a lot of variation again. Pilot Urushi Tsukushi. Saba prefers to watch the long jump competition on the Fox Sports Network. I'm an idiot. There's the John Hall fountain pen kit, medium steel. She's really wet. Pilot Urushi Momiji, a player of a dog, whistled at Saba and called her a fox. She jumped in the truck. And here you go. There's the TWSBI VAC 700R, the broad steel. You can see, like I said, what I was saying about it kind of mimicking a pencil. It's got really good shading on that Fuyu Shogun. Saba is making the jump to politics by watching Fox News. Not sure Daddy approves. That is not a political statement. I just thought it was a funny play on words. Here we go. TWSBI VAC 700R, medium steel, Momiji. Saba ate a jumping fox. No dog food tonight. Okay, here we go. Now we'll make it over to the extra fine of the VAC 700R. Now I'm really impressed with this nib. Sorry about that. Really impressed with this nib. She does sing a little bit, but she's actually, look at that, she's pretty wet. It writes a little light with the Yuyaki, but it looks good. Saba jumps to watch one sitcom, Sanford and Son. Why? Red Fox. Now, I love the way this Vanishing point looks, especially with that Diamine Oxblood. Man, that ink is beautiful. I'm sorry about that funky looking 8 there. It was a 4, and that's the compromise I made to make it an 8. So it is a medium 18K. Dogs don't let other dogs jump foxes. I agree. There's the Lamy 2000, the medium. That's the older pen that I had with the Takasumi. Saba would jump out of the truck to take a deal with 20th Century Fox. I would too. Okay, there we go. Now you're going to see a lot of Konpeki from here on out. But that's the newer 2000, and this thing is the second best writer I have next to the 823. This thing writes great. I'll let you just read it. I'm tired of reading. Okay. 823 with the Konpeki. The quicker brindle doggy jumped a fox in an alleyway. And you can see how wet she is. There's the Urushi. Great shading on the Konpeki. Very similar, as I said, to the 823. And there's the Pelikan. And you can see that I block printed, but man, it looks so good block printed. There's a little bit of variation there, and you can see how wet she is. And there's the bonus, Lamy 2000 Rollerball, and a list of coming attractions. And here we go. Pilot Custom 74 Bold is heading to the house. In fact, it's at the house right now. I just got there today, and I should be getting this one later on in the week. Also, I forgot to even put that in there. I've got a Pilot M405 somewhere out in the ether right now. It says it's in Chicago, but it's definitely not at my house. So let me see if I can flip this back around. In fact, I'm just going to pause for a second. The pause didn't work out, but I'm sure, I guess I am going to be stitching this together. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's my show and tell. As I mentioned, I mean, I've got inks and paper, and the paper that you were looking at was actually the Lamy notebook paper. I believe it's an 80 GSM, so yeah, it worked really well. I got some pens for my brother that I sent him home, some Pilot calligraphy pens, and I actually gave him my Noodler's Triple Tail. So I think he can do a lot more good with it than I can right now. I know I did say I got it for music writing, but we'll make that happen later. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Saba, you want to say goodbye? Come here. Maybe she doesn't. You want to come say goodbye? Come here. I'll give you treaties. You want to do the treaties? I will. I promise I'm going to make good with the treaties right after we get off this video. Guys, take care. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed it. And watch my other videos. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.